There are 4 powerful stories that every freelancer or business owner should tell in order to build their personal brand online and attract their best customers. And in this video, I am breaking them all down for you, so keep watching. Hey Posse, what's up? It's Alex coming at you this week with another video about one of my favorite topics ever, branding, and personal branding to be exact. But first, let me call out a massive misconception right here, straight out the gate. Personal branding is only for influencers or content creators. Nope, thanks in part to AI, personal branding is for anyone with a pulse. Yes, it turns out that being a human is a quality that people now check for when connecting with other people online. It is crazy times we are living in, people, and the truth is, you already have a personal brand, whether you like it or not. And guess what? Not posting anything online or staying a ghost is a personal branding choice. So you might as well have some control over the way you're perceived, or you may just be accused of being a bot. Yes, that has happened before too. But this is not about creating endless content just for the sake of creating content. That model of building your personal brand is so 2022, I hate to say it. Content is out and sharing stories is in. Why? Well, because in this age of AI, where content is dirt cheap and distrust is the default, connection is the most valuable currency that we have online as marketers, freelancers, and business owners. Remember, people don't do business with strangers. They buy from people they know, like, and trust, and that hasn't changed. But it is even truer today now that the internet has become a minefield of fake and automated everything. And the good news is this creates a huge opportunity for you to serve up a fresh dose of big human energy and attract your dream clients who are out there looking for you right now. The more you connect with your audience by sharing your insights, your experiences, and your wisdom through storytelling, the more likely they are to trust you and invest in you. And that brings me to another huge misconception about personal branding that I hear all of the freaking time. I need to be an expert or have extensive experience before I build a personal brand. This is simply not true. Building your personal brand is not only for influencers or gurus or experts, and it's definitely not about creating educational content that makes you look like an expert when you are in fact not an expert. In fact, most people can see through that right away anyways. It's forced, it's cringy, it's awkward. Yes, we have all seen it. But I come across people all the time online with incredible personal brands, literally every single day. People who are not claiming to be experts at anything. They are simply passionate about something, have a unique perspective to share, and yes, in many cases, they have something to sell, but they never lead with that, right? They are just showing up as them. Personal branding is not about faking it till you make it. It's about authentically highlighting your unique insights, skills, and experiences, regardless of where you are on your journey or in your business, whether you are just starting out or maybe you already have a full client roster. And the best way to do that is, yes, through storytelling. I absolutely love this quote from Jonathan Gottschall's book, The Storytelling Animal: How Stories Make Us Human. He says, "We are, as a species, addicted to story. Even when the body goes to sleep, the mind stays up all night telling itself stories. Stories resonate with us way more than any fact or useful tip ever could. Stories create feelings of trust and compassion and empathy. Stories connect us to each other." So as you work on building your personal brand this year, please stress less about making sure that you have the perfect listicle or the educational post, and start thinking about the stories you could tell, the stories that are relatable to your audience. And here are 4 types of stories you can and should be telling to build your personal brand. Number 1, where I came from. Your origin story should paint a clear picture of who you are and what got you here. More specifically, your origin story is about all the events that shaped and molded you, aka your personal brand, into what you are today or who you are today. It is so much more than just simply giving a dry and boring bio of yourself. So let's take a look at some popular examples of origin stories that you are probably pretty familiar with. Superheroes. So think about your favorite superhero of all time. How did they get their powers? What was their life like before that defining moment? What is their personal struggle? What is their weakness? Who is the villain? What are they on a mission to achieve? Superhero origin stories do something really, really powerful. They humanize the superhero and make this better, faster, stronger person seem somehow relatable, even though they're superheroes. Their origin stories make us empathize with them, and they reflect our own struggles and losses and hardships back to us. And ultimately, and this is the point, they give us hope that we too can discover our strengths and achieve our greatest missions. So let's take a look at a couple. First up, Batman's origin story. So Bruce Wayne might not be a very relatable character at first glance. I mean, he inherited like a massive fortune from his parents, and he can basically do whatever he wants, right? But when you examine his origin story, he all of a sudden becomes a lot more relatable. He was a wealthy boy who was orphaned when his parents were brutally murdered by street thugs. Their murder was the defining moment in the origin story of Batman, when Bruce Wayne dedicated his life to fighting crime. But, and this is key, he does this because he's seeking revenge, not necessarily because he just wants to help innocent people. So this is really the story of the anti-hero, a character who does the right thing, but is not exactly the shining example of perfection that superheroes are typically seen as, which makes Batman a lot more interesting and a lot more relatable as a superhero. Or what about my personal favorite superhero, Storm? Storm is the descendant of an ancient line of African priestesses. When she was 5 years old, a bomb destroyed their home and her parents were killed. She survived, but was buried under rubble near her mother's body, and this traumatizing event left her orphaned with severe claustrophobia. For a while, she worked as a thief and picked locks. She did whatever she needed to do to survive, and it wasn't until years later, after feeling a strong urge to return to her ancestors' homeland, that her power to control the weather became apparent, and she was eventually recruited into the X-Men. Superheroes are not perfect, and that is the point. They stole, cheated, made questionable moral judgments. They did what they had to do for a while in order to survive. They struggled to come to terms with their powers and didn't always use it in the best ways. And this is exactly what makes them so relatable. So in your own story, there are likely many imperfect moments, mistakes, lessons, or wake-up calls that might be a little bit hard to share, but make you so much more relatable. So don't shy away about sharing truthfully about how you came to where you are today, and share all the stories that really made you who you are. All right, the next type of story you want to share to build your personal brand is number 2, what I care about. These are the stories that talk about your personal values, interests, and beliefs. 89% of customers favor brands that share their values. And this is true whether or not those values are related to what you do. Even if your values and beliefs are completely unrelated to your career or your business, they are still a very important part of who you are and what motivated you to start your business in the first place. Everyone has characteristics, drives, desires, values, and fears, and these are the things that make up your unique personality. They shape the things you say, the things you do, and the way in which you do them. I am very passionate about dogs. I am a proud dog mom to my stinker doodle, Tater, and she actually went through a traumatic accident 2 years ago that drastically impacted every single thing in my life, including my business. So even though Tater doesn't really have anything to do with my business, anytime I share a story about her, whether it's about her at her most recent rehab appointment, or us snuggled up on the couch, or her barking out the window, or how I now take care of a dog with special needs, or even just a meme of basically how obsessed I am with her. Literally, these stories always have the best engagement out of anything I post. And that should really tell you something. They have nothing to do with my business. They have nothing to do with my brand, but it is such an important part of who I am outside of all of that. My audience wants to understand who I am, who I really am as a whole and complete person. And that is what makes them feel more connected to me and really starts conversations. And it's gonna make your audience feel a lot more connected to you too. So share the things you care about. Now, the next story to build your personal brand is number 3, who I help. So out of all the story types on this list, this is probably the most obvious. Customer stories are your chance to showcase your brand and more specifically, what you can do and how you can help your audience through the eyes of someone else, aka your past customers or clients. Social proof is always more believable and persuasive than telling a story that just comes from your own perspective. Hearing other people talk about how great you are, how incredible your services are, how much they loved your product is way more effective than, of course, if you were just telling everybody why you're so great and why everyone should hire you or why your products are amazing. And I mean, obviously we know that, right? But research shows that 72% of customers say positive reviews and testimonials make them trust a business more. And 88% of consumers trust online reviews as much as personal recommendations from friends. But aside from increasing believability, humans just love to hear stories about other real people because again, we relate to them. So just like when we're reading your origin story, we can picture our own story or circumstance in the story of the customer we're reading about. All of a sudden, our needs and desires and pains are reflected back to us through what that customer was going through. And when we see this customer eventually found a way out of their struggle and reached success with the help of you, your product or service, well, that's enough to make almost anyone want to buy and take that next step with you and your brand. To make these stories as powerful as possible, you really want to highlight the before and after transformation of your customer's journey. So if you can, paint a detailed picture of the struggles they had before. And of course, these are likely many of the same struggles that your other customers or future customers are dealing with. Then highlight what their life looks like now after getting your help. Keep these stories focused on the customer and their transformation. That is the most important thing. And of course, you can mention that it was your product or service that helped them get there. But the point is not to sell or promote anything here. That almost makes sharing the story feel a little less authentic and a little less true. All you need to do is simply share the story and let them know the path that they took to get there. Let the story do the selling for you. All right, the last type of story you want to tell to build your personal brand is number 4, what I really do. So a question that my friend Jen Kem always asks when meeting someone new is, what do you do? And what do you really do? So what do you do? That is the elevator pitch or the canned response that you give to someone, say, at a networking event. What do you really do? Okay, so that is the deeper underlying mission or reason you do it. It's that unspoken sense of purpose behind your work that really keeps you going even when things get hard. So let me tell you about me. What do? I teach rad humans the copywriting, marketing, and branding strategies they need to start and grow their online businesses. Great. What do I really do? I show rad humans that their message matters and their words can change the world. I empower them to use their voice and their creativity to create the life of their dreams, build a lucrative business, and make an impact on humanity with the type of marketing that today's businesses need and today's audiences crave. Can you feel the difference there, right? This goes far beyond your values and interests or what your skills and expertise are. These stories should really touch on the greater purpose of your business and the impact you hope to make. These are the stories you hope people keep telling long after you're gone. They are meant to get people fired up. You want people to read these stories and feel a strong desire to support you because they support and believe in the mission that you're working towards. And I tell these types of stories all the time. My followers and customers know exactly what I'm passionate about: fighting against douchey marketing tactics that are manipulative, scammy, and severely outdated, and I will scream that from the rooftops. I have made it my mission to teach empathetic, honest, and effective strategies that work today so you can grow your online business without the ick factor that is often associated with selling and marketing in general. And yes, it is getting worse even today. So yes, I often share stories about what's not working or what I am just sick of seeing, along with stories of great messaging and branding that I find online. Now, notice how all of these are just stories. None of them are educational frameworks or tips. They don't sell, they show and tell. Now, if the thought of showing up online and sharing your stories with your clients and customers terrifies you just a little bit, maybe you are just starting out, maybe you're introverted, maybe you're a little awkward, maybe you're just straight up repulsed by the idea of showing up on social media. Listen, I totally get it. You are not alone. I was in those exact same shoes before I started my YouTube channel. That is why I am hosting my upcoming personal brand bootcamp for freelancers and business owners. In this bootcamp, you'll learn how to confidently confidently claim your little corner of the internet, position yourself as a trusted connection in the right social circles, and attract premium clients who need your services now more than ever before. Whether you are just starting out, looking to grow your side hustle, or you're already fully booked, I'm going to prove to you why building your personal brand is your most brilliant move in 2025. And you'll walk away with the exact blueprint you need to confidently build your personal brand this year and beyond. And you can save your spot for that at the link in the description box below. And while you're down there, make sure to download my free brand voice checklist. This will really help you get clear on who you are and what you stand for so you can craft your brand voice and write amazing stories to build your personal brand. I hope you found this video helpful, and I hope to see you at the bootcamp. Now tell me, what type of story will you tell first? I will see you next week with a brand new video. Until then, I'm Alex. Ciao for now. All right, guys, if you enjoyed that video, make sure to check out the next one from me right here. And you can click right here to get a free gift. Storytelling is one of the most important and foundational aspects of great email marketing. But like any copywriter or business owner who writes their own emails will tell you, after a while, the originality well really starts to dry up and you're left wondering, how can I come up with new story ideas? In this video, I'm going to give you my favorite tips for sourcing great stories to use in your email marketing and how to make almost any story completely relevant to what you have to say in your marketing, so keep watching.